Okay, so I'm here on the Goodwood Motor Circuit straight, and yeah, I've done a quick walk around down the first half of it just to see what we've got. So I've got a few call-outs here. So yeah, the first one I noticed was this 1924 Bugatti. It's getting a lot of attention. I'm not sure which model it is, unfortunately, but it's obviously a classic Bugatti. It's something that I really like the look of. It's obviously historic. Don't know what the history is behind it, but yeah, that's a nice start. And then if we take a walk down, the other two cars that caught my eye when walking down the street was these two Fiat Dinos, Fiat Dino Spiders. This red one's from 1968, and yeah, I love the paintwork on this one. Red body. I love the alloys with the yellow cap in the middle there. It's got a bit of a Ferrari feel about it. Yeah, nice classic interior there, designed by Pininfarina. Really nice. And then there's one next to it, the blue one. This one's yeah, slightly different in terms of the look. It's got the black interior with the blue. Got to admit, I prefer the red one, but that's just me. Red being my favourite colour. The other car which caught my eye in the first half was this Ferrari over here. Let's just have a quick look. So this one here, it's a Ferrari 330, 1968. Let's have a walk around this.
Yeah, it forks off and it's just there.
Yeah, that's a classic, absolutely lovely, nice interior. And as you can see, I mean, there's a really diverse range of cars here, everything from large American classics to French classics. And it's also super busy because, well, school holidays have just started here. It's quite a nice day, and as a result, with this being a free event, there's a lot of people have turned up. So the other car which caught my eye was, well, first of all, this Porsche 356 was worth a mention, 1600. Yeah, just like the look of these things. Really nice design. But this other one here, Aston Martin Lagonda, registered in 1978. No, I think it was built in 1978 and registered in 1979. But I've always been fascinated by this Lagonda because I always thought it looked a bit like a sleek version of a Rolls Royce, just because of the kind of the grille on the front of it. But this is the one that's quite famous for having some quite advanced looking switchgear. Let's have a look at it. Switchgear that I think can go wrong. If you were here, you'd also be able to smell the leather, and it's on sale for £64,500, or very near offer. So yeah, if you're interested in that, get involved. Right. So the next one in this first half, this very busy first half of the pit lane, well, the main straight. There's a lot of nice Aston Martins. There's this Opel here, which yeah, that's great condition for what is an Opel. But the other car which really excited me was this Ferrari down here. So I'm just going to try and get over to it. It's the Ferrari Testarossa 512 TR. It's obviously had a right good polish. Before it arrived here, because it looks absolutely phenomenal. The paintwork, the alloys, and it's just amazing, the design on this thing. I mean, it goes right back to the 1980s and it still looks brilliant today. Now look at the registration on this. F12 TRR, Ferrari 512 TR. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous that is. So, yeah, black interior, you probably can't see that, but the whole car just looks in brilliant condition. Lovely. And then the next one I saw was a Renault Alpine A310 V6 from 1978. So the reason this caught my eye was just because I like the design on this. Still looks sort of sleek today, albeit a little bit dated. And this car's got a lot of patina on it. It's certainly not perfect, but it's quite an authentic looking example. You can see, I don't know if you can see, there's like a few cracks in the paintwork here, but that all adds to the authenticity and character of it. Let's take a walk round. You can see the rear mounted engine here. Yeah, so that caught my eye just because I like the look of that, and those wheels, those alloys. They've got a nice kind of futuristic look. On to the next one. The next one which I noticed, again, this bright red Ferrari Dino. Again, this one looks in absolutely stunning condition. Just the red paintwork. The alloys are all nice and clean and tidy. The interior, don't know if you can see this, but the interior looks fantastic. Great condition. Just take a quick walk round. Yep, lovely. And here we have the Chichester City Band. They're not playing at the moment, but they were playing earlier. So yeah, so that's the first half of the main straight on the Goodwood Motor Circuit here. So I'm just going to pop down to the other half and see what I can find down there. If you're wondering what's going on here, these are the Austin G40 pedal cars, and yeah, if any of you are familiar with Goodwood, I think it's the Goodwood Revival. They do this where they do a race with all the children racing in these tiny pedal cars. It is great fun to watch, and I've got to admit, if I were that age where I could fit into one of those cars, I'd love to join that race. I mean, these cars have always looked good fun, so yeah, that caught my eye. And I think they're doing a little test session here or something like that, so yeah, that's the reason they're here today. And then they've got a little course down there with some little chicanes set up where they can practice their skills going around the corners there, so yeah, good fun. Okay, down here on the second half of the main straight, and just going to call out a few cars that have caught my eye down here. So we've got this Dodge Charger, and yeah, I find this fascinating because it's so American looking given the scale of it, and also I love the way that the headlights are hidden behind those grills. That's not something that you see that often. I think this was like the pre-pop-up headlight era. But I mean, the other reason that I like this car, I mean, it's certainly not my favourite, but I'm fascinated by it just because like these cars are just so incredibly huge. You can't really appreciate it, you know, until you see these things in the flesh. And growing up in the UK, you know, to see a car like this on the road, you know, say back in the 80s or 90s, you just wouldn't see anything like it. It's just so massive, and I wouldn't fancy taking that around London, anywhere in central London, given the congestion there. But yeah, nice car. And then the next one was this. You can obviously see there's a lot of MGs here, some Austin Healey's. There's such a broad range of cars at this event. I mean, anything that falls into classic is pretty much here. It doesn't matter the make, the style, the model, the manufacturer. I mean, everything is here, so it's great to see. So I like this. You've got this hot rod here. It's obviously very busy, so you can't really get too much of a walk around it. But the next one I saw as well, again, fascinated by some of these American cars. It's a 1949 Cadillac Coupe DeVille. I mean, it's just the scale of it and the design. I mean, to think that they were actually building these, you know, in the late 1940s, just the styling of it, the scale of it. I mean, it's just fascinating. Let's see if we can have a quick look at the interior. You can smell the kind of old leather as well. So yeah, it's nice to see that. And then the other car parked next to it in complete contrast is this Ford here. It's a 1984, and it's a Granada 2.8 injection Gia X. So yeah, look at that badge. You need a long boot lid to fit all of that on. But it's, yeah, this is a bit of a classic 1970s car in the UK. But to see it parked next to a Cadillac just shows the diversity of cars around here. So that was interesting. And the next one that I saw another Fiat Spider actually. Oh yeah, this one down here, this little kind of gold coloured one. Let's not forget this Alfa Romeo here, which is very nice too in red. But again, this Fiat Spider, designed by Pininfarina. Last time I checked on these in the classifieds, they weren't too expensive as far as classics go, but I think like everything else, they're no doubt going up in price. But yeah, nice design. You can tell that's by Pininfarina. Very clean, very tidy. I'd quite happily drive that. And then next to that we've got a Jensen Interceptor, and just going to take a walk down to the next one. The next one that caught my eye, again, it just shows the kind of mix of cars we've got here. We've got the BMW 2002. Let's do a quick walk around that. It looks quite original actually, it doesn't look like it's been over restored. Interior, the steering wheel, it all looks very original. And then look at this tiny little window here. It's for ventilation on a hot day. I wouldn't describe today as absolutely roasting hot, but it's certainly nice and you'd want some ventilation. So yeah, let's move on. You can see that there's another Fiat. Let's have a look. Yep, it's another Fiat Dino Spider. I wasn't expecting to see quite so many of these today. This one has got the black interior as opposed to the cream interior which I saw earlier. But yeah, that's a very nice looking car. And then the next one that caught my eye was something that I don't think I've ever seen before anywhere. It's a Mitsubishi Celeste, and it's in remarkably good condition. It's obviously a coupe. It's got a proper like 1970s colour scheme here with a sort of metallic gold. But I mean, that just caught my eye because I don't think I've ever seen one of these before anywhere. So yeah, interesting, good mix of cars today. Let's see what else we've got. Take a walk down. You can see there's a few AC classics as well. You've got the Cobra over on the right hand side here. It's in a kind of like a stainless steel or aluminium bodywork there. You can see that on the right. It's a nice plate. RAKIT 1T racket. So I presume it makes a racket with the engine. If anybody doesn't know what that means, it means making quite a lot of noise. And this one here, BMW Z1. Certainly don't see many of these around, and the reason I wanted to show you this is just because as you'll know, the doors go up and down to get in and out. It's on a G plate, so probably 1989. Right, let's have a look. There's a really nice Alvis down here on the right hand side. I think it's a bit of a walk down, so I'm going to catch up with this one in a second. Check out this Mini here. It's been obviously not restored, and I think that's the whole point. I don't know if you can see inside there, but it's been deliberately given that used look. Oh, it's for sale. £9,000 if you fancy that. I think like 20 years ago you'd be very lucky to get £9,000 for that. In fact, the owner might be lucky to get £9,000 today, but those things are going up in value as well. So over here on the right hand side, there's an Alvis Cabriolet. Lovely blue paint work on this. Have a look at it, and a nice registration as well. XL43. It's a nice cream interior. offset against the blue paintwork. Now the reason that caught my eye is because originally I thought it looked a bit like a Facel Vega just from the front headlights, but it's obviously not, it's an Alvis, but nice looking car. Right. So you've got everything here from Lotus Elan Sprint, even next to a Mini, an original Mini that looks small, or even next to a Fiat 500, that's a really small looking car. And then you've got this Triumph here, 2 litre. Let's have a look at the interior on this, proper 1970s style. It's the TR7, as you can see from the glove box there. Yeah, those cars, I think they've got a bit of a bad reputation, but anyway, take a look at this Alfa Romeo Montreal in blue. It's a Bertone design. It's absolutely gorgeous, this car. It's got a kind of weird fabric, velour interior, but I like that, it looks very original. So, Bertone design. And then you've got the classic eyelashes on the front. Have a look at that. I mean, that's got to be up there amongst one of my favourites. And you can see the vent. That it kind of looks like a real vent, but it's actually blocked off. So yeah, and then this other one here, this Rolls-Royce Corniche. I actually thought it was a silver shadow just when I saw it from the front, but it's actually a Corniche, as you can see, because it's a coupe. It's not in the best of conditions. There's a bit of rust there on the wheel arch. But yeah, I mean, they're still quite expensive cars. I was actually looking at Rolls-Royce silver shadows in the classifieds recently. You can get quite a nice one for about £25,000. But I think the running costs and the fuel would be quite expensive, but I can't help myself looking at these cars and thinking, oh, there's a bargain, but in reality you've got to think about the longer term costs, and I certainly don't need a car whilst being in London. But yeah, there we go. So that's the second half of the pit straight. Yeah, I'm going to have a walk around and then I'll catch up with you in a minute. Right, I'm just in the first of the paddock areas that I visited today, and the car that caught my eye straight away is this 1979 Ferrari 308 GTS. I don't know about you lot, but I think just to see these cars actually nowadays, just the stance of them, the design of them, I mean, they just look, I presume, as spectacular now as they did back in the 70s. Yeah, it looks absolutely brilliant. I mean, look at the interior here. I think the interior's been restored because it looks almost perfect. But yeah, I think nowadays you're looking at between about 55,000, maybe 65,000 for a nice one of them. But yeah, absolutely love that. It looks just brilliant in red. And then the next car, you can see a Triumph TR6 getting ready to go there, making a bit of a racket. And then this here, the Rolls-Royce Shadow. Obviously I mentioned the Corniche earlier, but yeah, I'm really attracted to these because, as I said, they're not like huge amounts of money to buy from the outset, but I suspect that the running costs and fuel costs are obviously quite high as well. But I just think to waft around in something like this for £25,000 is a bit of a bargain. It still looks brilliant and the interior is gorgeous. So yeah, nice Rolls-Royce Shadow. And then another car which I saw here, it's Aston Martin DB5 Superleggera. It's in red, which is quite unusual, and 1964. You see the Aston Martin Owners Club badge on it. 5 DBG. Look at the registration on that, and then the badge. So there's David Brown Aston Martin. You don't see many of them in red. It's lovely. And then the other car, which I saw in the paddock, you can see this little Mini Moke, the green one, just driving off there. This one, we saw a Fiat Spider earlier. This one is a 124 Sport 1600. It's got the Abarth badges on it. Bertone design. Yeah, that looks nice as well. It's got some very new looking green racing harnesses. But again, that's just a nice looking classic car, that, isn't it? Lovely. It's not too big, not too small. Get that out on the country road, have a nice time in that. Very nice. What have we got over here? I haven't seen this one yet, but it's a blue something. I can't remember what this is actually. I saw one at the last Breakfast Club. Let's have a look and see what it is. Oh yeah, it's a 1965 Gordon Keeble. I should have remembered that, but I didn't from the last time. Yeah, interesting car. An interesting badge on the front as well. You can see Gordon Keeble. And on the front, there's like a tortoise. Or is it a turtle? I don't know. Right, that's it for this paddock. I'm going to have a walk around the next one and then report back. So switched on to see this Studebaker drive off here. But just while we're waiting for that to drive off, you can also see that if we take a look round, just to the left of that, you can see a really nice Maserati coupe. I can't remember what model that one is, but on the left of that, you've got the Lamborghini Espada. That's a proper 1970s car. I'm going to have a look at that in a minute, but this very bright yellow Studebaker, it's just driving off. Very nice. Let's go and have a look at the Espada. Bertone design. I like those vents on the bonnet.
Right, are we going?
It's really amazing how low that car is. It's a very long car. It's very low. And it probably reeks of the 70s, but I like that. I mean, look at these wheel nuts on it. Just knock off wheel nuts.
I'll give you a call later on.
If any of you are watchers of Harry's Garage, you'll have seen the Lamborghini Espada well documented on there. Harry's got a red one. And I think we're about to see a couple of these nice cars drive off, the Spada and the Maserati. Here we go. There goes the Maserati. Yep, Maserati Ghibli. That's certainly a cool pair of cars, isn't it? And there's also another Ferrari now about to drive off. One of the things that you'll notice about the Breakfast Club when you come here, I think the gates open at about 7 o'clock in the morning. That's way too early for me, so I tend to get down here at about usually about 9:30, because any earlier than that and it's just too early. But yeah, you got a lot of the owners, they turn up. I think a lot of them turn up quite early, because even when I'm on the way down on the motorbike, I quite often see a lot of classic cars and things driving back up in the opposite direction, and I'm assuming that those are people who have already been down, displayed the cars, and yeah, they're on their way back up. So you get some really early arrivals, but you also get some later arrivals as well. I mean, this you've obviously seen the Ferrari earlier, but there's this Fiat on the left-hand side, which either wasn't here earlier or I didn't notice as well. They had this on Salvage Hunters Classic Cars recently. Fiat Coupe. This one's a 1973 Fiat 130 Coupe, 3.2 litre V6 automatic with 86,000 miles on the clock, and it's for sale, open to offers. I think this is the sort of car where you've got to be a bit of a car enthusiast to appreciate it. It's a Pininfarina design, I certainly like it, but I think to anybody who's not a car enthusiast, they'd be questioning what's that all about. Yeah, it's a nice clean design. So there we go. I think I've done the most of it. I'm going to have a look up the other side just to make sure I've not missed anything. Right, I'm up the far end of the Goodwood Straight. As you can see, there's a whole load of cars here. I mean, I've been walking around for at least an hour now, and there's so much to see. I mean, I think because the weather's good, people are on a holiday, it's brought out a brilliant range of cars, so I just thought I'd show you a couple of other things that caught my eye. This one here, Citroen DS, is yeah, that's a nice car in grey. However, a couple of pairs, a nice pair of Porsche 911s here. I mean, this Carrera in orange, it's a Targa, love the look of that. I've got an Alfa Romeo just departing, but yeah, this 911, brilliant condition, nice colour. It looks like it's had a good restoration actually, because the interior looks very tidy. I like that. And then next to it, you've got this other 911. So yeah, that one there, Carrera 3 litre. The one on the left here, the blue one, looks a bit older. Yeah, 911S. Yeah, quite like the registration on that one actually. I don't know if that colour is standard because it looks quite a metallic blue, but it looks good all the same. So yeah, that's it. I think I'm going to head down to one more area that I haven't looked at, and then if there's anything exciting, I'm going to report back on it too. Alright, well that's it. I think I've walked through the majority of the show today. As you can see, a lot of the cars are now leaving. I think it's only just gone about 11 o'clock in the morning, and people are starting to leave, but then it is the breakfast club after all. So yeah, I think my plan now is to head down to one of the beaches on the south coast. It's only about a 20-minute, half an hour drive away from here, so it's a great day for it. So I think it's time for some sunbathing. So yeah, it's been a really nice show today. Lots of cars. Thanks to the owners for bringing them all out. It's been such a great variety of not only cars but also bikes as well. And yeah, I'll see you for the next one.